A large number of soldiers and officers gathered and drove towards the town. They planned to make a final effort to save the city before the flood arrives. At this time, the villagers guarding the flood embankment were still continuously reinforcing the defenses with sandbags. They didn't want their homes to be flooded. Whenever the water level rose by 1 meter, they raised the height of the embankment by 2 meters, but they still found that the river water had already started to seep through the bottom of the embankment. They no longer had any other options. The villagers didn't know what to do next. At this moment, the police had already arrived at the flood embankment. They were there to tell the villagers that they must evacuate immediately, because it was already too dangerous here. The river could collapse the embankment at any moment. But at that moment, a man stepped forward. He told others that the government intended to sacrifice them. They had to rely on themselves to defend their home. Meanwhile, Mina was on her way there. She anxiously emphasized again to the other leaders that they must evacuate the people on the flood embankment immediately. Otherwise, all of them would be in danger. But gradually the convoy realized they were lost. It turned out that the people in the town had already known about their plan. They had changed the road signs to mislead them. This made them waste a lot of time on the road. Finally, they found the correct route. At this point, the governor saw that the buses which should have evacuated the villagers had no one on them. He could already imagine the scene when these villagers clashed with other personnel. On the other side, the villagers on the flood embankment were still nervously repairing the dam. Suddenly, a convoy of fully armed trucks charged in. As they saw the well-equipped riot police slowly approaching, the villagers on the embankment remained calm without any panic. When the troops reached their designated position, the commander ordered them to halt. Then he went alone to negotiate with the village representative. He represented the government and demanded that the villagers leave the embankment immediately. However, the villagers who knew that the government intended to blow up the dam for flood control ignored the commander's words entirely. A conflict soon broke out between the two sides. The soldiers only slowly retreated to a safe area while protecting themselves. At this time, the governor, mayor, and Mina arrived at the embankment. They hurried over to persuade the commander to stop the overly aggressive actions. This would only make the situation between both sides worse. Seeing this scene, the governor realized that reporters were filming everything nearby. He reluctantly ordered the mission to be abandoned. After everything ended, Mina silently walked up to the flood embankment. She looked at the surging river before her. She knew that she was powerless to stop it. The villagers who successfully defended the embankment were now being interviewed by the television station. Gradually, the sky began to lighten. The mayor found Mina. He knew that Mina had done everything she could, but this disaster was beyond her control. Then the two of them left together. At this time, the person in charge of the reservoir opened the sluice gates as the water level was about to submerge the dam. He began to release the floodwaters. No one could stop the arrival of the flood. Meanwhile, the villagers on the embankment were still feeling proud that they had once again protected their home.